It's been a minute since we talked to the mighty Paul Hamilton on the West Her Hotline, or really any hotline for that matter. But here, of course, it is always the West Her Hotline. Glad to have you with us here on a Monday. And Paul Hamilton joins me now live on said West Her Hotline. Paul, what's shaking, man? How are you?
Willis Reed, Walt Frazier, Dave DeBuscher, Bill Bradley, and Dean Meminger.
Paul, are you on another line talking to someone? Like, what?
Well, I just heard in the sports that the last time the New York Knicks won the championship was 1973.
Okay. Good job. Yeah, good. I was 8. All right. Yeah. Good deal. All right.
Guys like Walt Frazier and Willis Reed.
Yeah. Been a minute.
Yeah, Dave DeBuscher.
Yeah. No, I remember all of them. I mean, I can't give you chapter and verse on them all, but I
playing against Jerry West.
Yeah. Well, Paul, thanks. Do you hate Mitch Marner?
I don't like the idea. He might be a very nice person. He's a very good offensive hockey player, but he's not what the Buffalo Sabres need. I mean, the Buffalo Sabres were 10th in the league in scoring at 3.23 goals per game. If you got up to 3.26 goals per game, they're 7th in the league in scoring. I mean,
Mitch Marner can do that for him, Paul.
What the problem with the Buffalo Sabres is they're 29th in the league in defense, and they have goaltenders that can't make a big save at a big time for them. And they need players that can jump into your top 6. I have a better idea than Mitch Marner. How about Sam Bennett or Marchand, who have won cups, who can play in your top 6, who can play offensively and defensively, can upset the other team. They will get the other team upset instead of the Sabres having to react. Other teams will have to react to the Sabres. That's the types of players that they need, and they're winners. You know, they're winners. They can play both ends of the ice. They're tough to play against. They score goals in big games. They're leaders. I mean, and people, well, they're not coming to Buffalo. Well, is Mitch Marner coming to Buffalo?
This entire conversation requires a certain level of suspension of disbelief. That like maybe the gyrations aren't even worth the time. But whatever. Here's the thing about I don't disagree with you about Bennett or Marchand even at this stage. The thing is, I think everyone agrees. Marner is, Paul. I'm trying to get through a day here. Marner. Marner, people are, I think, going to overreact to Marner. A part of my thinking is a player that looks flawed in one place, and I recognize Toronto is not Buffalo, okay? So it's not exactly apples and apples, but you've seen guys who acquired reputations for sulking and not being able to pull it together, even though they had a very talented roster and all those different things. They go elsewhere and they fly and they're free. I'm not predicting for sure that will happen with Mitch Marner, but to me, getting out from under Toronto and all the expectations could be extremely good for him. And as far as his, one-sided type player, he was a Selke Trophy finalist 2 years ago. And he plays on the penalty kill. This is not just a one-dimensional player entirely.
I disagree. I think he is a one-dimensional player. I think he makes them worse defensively, not better. They'll probably be 30th or whatever defensively. Especially watching him in the playoffs, some of the things he's done defensively in the playoffs, I'm shaking my head. What are you doing? You're just wandering around. You're not even paying attention. I've said that out loud as I'm watching him. It's like, what in the world are you doing? And so to me, I don't care if he was a Selke Trophy candidate or whatever.
It's not whatever. It's the best defensive forward in hockey. Now, he didn't win it, but to be nominated, was everybody sniffing glue that year? I don't understand why.
Nominated by what? The Canadian media? Or I just
okay.
I'm not on board with it. I'm just not.
All right.
And I think they become a worse defensive team on a team that has to be better defensively. All right, so he shows up, and instead of being 10th in the league in scoring, you're 7th in the league in scoring or 6th in the league in scoring. Great. Now what? I still don't have a goalie that can make a save. I still don't have a team that plays well defensively. And I've just sunk $12-13 million into that.
Oh, keep going. 14, 50, whatever the max is what it would cost anyway. Paul, can I interest you in a bunch of 6-5 wins? That's what I'm after, right?
Yeah. I would rather go with the established winning players that can also score goals. Maybe can't get 100 points, but allows me to put Zach Benson in Rochester and put a very decent hockey player into my top 6 that is going to be good offensively and good defensively and can score the big goal at the big time, and have been winners and are abrasive to play against. And I would just rather have that player. I think that's the player the Sabres need a lot more than just. Yep. And I'm just going to say it, a one-dimensional offensive type guy.
Well, I love that you have chosen to not respect the Selke Trophy finalist thing, because it certainly helps your argument and hurts mine. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the fact that he plays on the penalty kill and was nominated for that, to me, flies in the face of the reputation.
They don't have anybody else to play in the penalty kill. No. They got all offensive forwards.
Are you kidding me? Pontius Holmberg can't kill penalties?
Well, yeah.
Jan Kruk or whoever these people are? What are you talking about?
They did change it around this year. They did change it around this year. They were better defensively this year as a team. That game against Buffalo here in Buffalo, did the Sabres even have a scoring chance all night? I mean, they just shut it down and got great goaltending. So, yeah, they were better defensively this year, definitely. But at the end of the day, when they needed to be good defensively, in a Game 7, they certainly weren't.
Holy cow. Paul, we can table the Marner thing is going to be there. That is going to be evergreen until July 1st when he signs, with Tampa or whatever's going to happen, wherever he ends up going. Really, though, one last thing. The point to me is, the way I phrased it to begin with, because I don't think any of these people are going to be interested in signing with the Buffalo Sabres, like any of the names you mentioned here, Bennett and Marchand, who, again, I'll say it again just in case anyone didn't catch it. I'm sure you did. I agree with you. That style of player is certainly in line with what I need. I'm just saying, if Marner actually wanted to talk to me, I'm not hanging up the phone. Like, I'm not going to feel too proud to take that call and consider signing him, despite him not being the best fit, because I need to do something to change the narrative around this team, and he's someone that I think could certainly do that. Anyway, Paul, Games 5 and 7 in Toronto. Mike said it great after Game 5 on Thursday, and here he said, it's got to be the worst sporting event you've ever attended if you were there. And I would agree. And then maybe last night only trumps it because you got the Game 6 to give you hope again, and then here comes Game 7, and it's really. I've never seen a team after the handshakes, when a series is over, gather at center ice to salute the fans and get booed. I mean, that was brutal. I'm not saying they didn't deserve it. I mean, those 2 games, Paul, I just can't even explain it.
And the thing about it is, it's not just this year. I mean, it keeps happening over and over and over and over again. And that's, I think, what makes it even worse, that you've got guys that perform very well in the regular. I mean, Austin Matthews is one of the best goal scorers in the National Hockey League in the regular season. And then he gets to the playoffs, and where is he? We need a goal. It's Game 5. It's Game 7. Where is he? Where are all these guys? Mm-hmm. That are very, very good in the regular season, and as we said, they were a better defensive team this year. Thinking, okay, we've made ourselves better defensively. We have a goaltender that's playing very, very well for us. Unfortunately, that goaltender got hurt, but Woll wound up with a shutout along the way, and I don't think he was as good as Stolarz was, but I'm not sure Stolarz would have changed this around. We don't know. We'll never know. But that's the thing. I think that's what makes it worse, is it just keeps happening over and over and over again. And if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs trying to figure out what are you going to do, what makes you think sticking with it is going to make it change all of a sudden?
So what do you think moving forward here? Not for the Leafs entirely. I mean, I think their decisions will be largely made for them by guys hitting the market, though I guess maybe Tavares might want to stay, and they'll have a choice to make there if they want to keep going down that road. Really will depend on whether they can attract one of the players you've mentioned here, because Sam Bennett seems like a perfect ready-made replacement for Tavares on the free agent market. Should he get to the market, we'll see how that all shakes out. But we've got Florida and Carolina in the East, Dallas and Edmonton in the West. 3 of the 4 from last year. Only the Rangers were in the Carolina spot last year. What do you think of the field left?
It's interesting that in the NHL, the overall placement of these teams, you got Team 5 in Dallas, Team 9 in Edmonton, Team 10 in Carolina, and Team 11 in Florida. And even in the NBA, you do have Team 1 in Oklahoma City, but then you got to go down to Team 5 with the Knicks, Team 6 with Indiana, and Team 10 with Minnesota. So you in both leagues, the higher seeds for the most part, other than Oklahoma City and in Dallas, if you want it, it just goes to show you, and Tampa did the same thing. Tampa didn't care if they won the division. They didn't care if they won the President's Trophy or any of that kind of stuff. It's like, let's get ready for the playoffs. That's what the regular season. For those teams, it's an 82-game preseason. It's like, let's make sure we get in the playoffs, but we don't care where we get in. Let's just play, And Florida's 11th. Are they the 11th best team in the National Hockey League? No. But that's the way they hung out, and that's what Tampa did for those years, too. They just hung out, made the playoffs. They didn't care. It doesn't really matter if you're home ice or not. I mean, the road team wins quite a bit in the playoffs, and I think that's what we're seeing now is teams, good teams are just like, yeah, that's nice to win the President's Trophy. Congratulations. We don't care. We want to hang the big banner up there, and we're going to get ready to play for that big banner. And I think that's what we're seeing now. As far as Carolina, I feel like Jacques Lemaire has re-entered the league. I probably would rather do chores in the backyard than watch Carolina play.
I hated every minute of that Washington-Carolina series that I watched. I even would say, Owen would be in the kitchen, grabbing something to drink or whatever. I'd be like, I hate watching these teams play. This is terrible.
And I understand, and people are right. Well, they win. They haven't won the cup yet, but they're in the top 4.
Yeah.
So it's working for them to play this way. It worked for the New Jersey Devils as Jacques Lemaire systematically ruined the National Hockey League by winning a couple of Stanley Cups that way and then making other teams think, well, we got to play that way. No, we don't have to play that way. Why don't we just play some hockey that we actually can enjoy instead of playing that way? And Carolina plays that way, and if they happen to win the Stanley Cup, then all of a sudden, here we go. We're going right back to Jacques Lemaire and the Devils. Fire Lindy Ruff and get Jacques Lemaire in here and hire Lou Lamoriello, and here we go. And, it's just I just do not enjoy watching Carolina play at all.
Paul, that's coming across. Paul Hamilton on the West Her Hotline here for a few more minutes. How do you feel about the